Mirrorless cameras, they house the technology of the future, but do you need one? Do you want one? Will getting one help improve your photography? I'm just going on a trip to test out some new gear, and whilst I do that, I hopefully will help answer some of those questions. I don't often talk about gear on my channel, but in this video I am, because I'm sure that at some point in the near future at least someone's going to notice that I've switched from my Canon DSLR to a Sony mirrorless camera. And to begin with, I'm going to explain my reasons for doing so. Not that I feel I have to justify it, but just so you can understand and how it might help you to make your own decisions. One of my reasons, at least to begin with, and a reason that a lot of people will give, is weight. However, when you really look at it, yes, the camera bodies are lighter in weight, a little bit, but the lenses aren't. And if you really look at how much it is you're carrying now and what you'd be switching to mirrorless for, what lenses you're going to get and how much it's going to save you in terms of weight, it might only be a few hundred grams. So realistically speaking, that's not the main reason, but yeah, overall things are lighter. Another reason for me is that I was using two camera systems, which just feels a bit inefficient. For my photography I had my Canon, and for video I was already using Sony, and with that I had lenses for both. And so then I guess you could factor that into the weight, but also it's just, if you've got that many lenses, then you don't really feel like bringing them all the time anyway. And so having Sony for photo and video, I've got two cameras and I can switch lenses in between them. It's just a lot more convenient and a lot more easy for me. Another reason for switching to mirrorless is a financial one, and I'm not just talking the cost of cameras. What I'm talking about is the value of DSLRs and their lenses. The minute that Canon and Nikon announced or released their mirrorless systems last year, the value of DSLRs and their lenses will have started to drop. Now, you might not actually immediately see this, and of course those mirrorless cameras have got their adapters, but over time this value is going to go down. And when I thought about that and the fact that I wanted to move into new technology anyway, I felt that switching to mirrorless sooner rather than later was going to be better, because just like everybody else, I can't just afford to go out and buy new cameras and keep my existing gear. I need to trade it in, and that's where the value of the DSLRs and their lenses comes into effect, because a lot of the trade-in services will give you a quote based on how new your equipment is, but also how relevant. And as time goes on and as more people use mirrorless and it becomes more prolific in the industry, well then DSLRs are going to lose their value. And if I left it too late and traded in my gear at that point, then there would be more financial outlay for me. But is there anything I miss from DSLRs? Is there something that they can do that mirrorless cameras can't? Well, kind of, but there's a compromise which I much prefer, and it's to do with the viewfinder. So with a DSLR, the optical viewfinder is really helpful. It's a great tool for getting ready to decide whether you're going to take a photograph or not. Just take the lens cap off, put it up to your eye, and then you can see the scene in front of you. You can start to frame it and then decide whether you're going to pursue or continue and create an image. But with a mirrorless camera, you've got to turn the camera on to do that. And I know that sounds really minor, but the thing is it goes beyond that. You also have to dial in settings so that you can actually get a decent exposure that you can see. But that's the thing. I prefer being able to see the exposure. I prefer being able to see an image closer to what it is that I'm going to get out at the end. Because what I found with optical viewfinders is that often I would put up the viewfinder to my eye, think that I'm going to capture a nice image, but then when I actually look at it on the back of the camera or when I get home, it's just not really what I saw. And that's everything from the perspective, what I was focusing on when I looked, and the dynamic range, all of those things. With a mirrorless camera, what you see is what you get, and that's really useful. But am I suggesting that you switch to mirrorless too, and that all the new technology that comes along with it is going to make you a better photographer? I think you already know the answer to that, and it's no. Of course it's no. What will make you a better photographer, of course, is heading out with your camera and practicing. Now, I'm not saying that gear isn't important, because in many ways it is. We use cameras to capture the images that we do, so we need to get on with that camera and that system. We need to enjoy using it. And if maybe switching to mirrorless and a lighter body is going to reduce the barriers to you getting out and practicing, then perhaps it is a good move for you. But our reasons for switching and upgrading our cameras is ultimately a personal one. As I've mentioned, these are all my reasons, and they're quite likely going to be different to your reasons. And one of the things for me as well is that I do landscape photography, but I also do commercial photography too, and I just need a camera that's going to be capable and able to do the job that I need to do. And in truth, there's loads of cameras that can do that, DSLRs and mirrorless. And ultimately it just comes down to preference. And I know that a lot of people can be quite loyal to their camera brand, and for good reason, I understand it. But to give you a bit of perspective, and in case there's anyone thinking that I haven't been loyal, well, I'll give you some more fodder, because my camera history goes a bit like this: Kodak, Pentax, Fuji, Nikon, Canon, Sony. So I guess you could say that I'm not very loyal. Cameras only. So what do you think? Are you going to switch to mirrorless? Have you already switched? Have you switched back to DSLR? Why don't you leave a comment in the comment section below so that other people can see your reasons and it can help them make their decisions. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope this video has been helpful. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, then go and check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, subscribe. And if you want to make sure that you see every video that I put out, then click that notification bell. Thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next one.